What is up? How's the Legion of Comic Collectors doing tonight? Welcome to another episode of Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. I, of course, am the comic collector, and I'm joined by my buddies, Magic Lasso. What's up, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. We got Comic Fu 2814. What's up, man?
How's it going, everyone? It's going well.
And of course, I don't even know, is your YouTube channel the Signature King now too?
No.
Okay, so Tony Fett on YouTube.
Yes.
I was about to say Tony Fett, and I saw the Signature King on the bottom. I'm like, oh crap, maybe he changed it.
I should change that because I found out I'm not the king anymore. There's someone that has way more signatures than me.
Oh wow.
Like by over 1,000.
Hey,
You could call yourself the almost signature king.
Signature royalty. At least I'm in the courtyard, right?
hey, it's good to have goals, though. You know,
That's
Never
true.
stop
That's
trying.
true. That's true.
We got I collect a lot. What is up, man? Christy's here. Good to see you. So what's up, guys? We have any news this week? Anything going on?
Yes. The big Batman movie. I'm not going to spoil it. I haven't seen it, so I can't. But, that came out this week. And I heard it's actually getting really positive, both critic reviews and viewer reviews. So that's pretty good. And I heard the ending was pretty solid.
Yeah. 128 million, best opening of any Batman movie.
Yeah, of all
Really?
time. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know,
That's crazy.
The aesthetics just aren't for me.
I'm with you there, Tim.
Like, yeah, I'll watch it when it comes to DVD.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not pulling me in yet. I just
Well, as soon as it hits HBO Max, which it's going to, they said in April 4th, I
Yeah.
think.
45 days, I think, after the theatrical release.
Which is fine. I got no problem with that. I wait.
Yeah.
And the probably the biggest news, at least for me, that I thought was pretty big news. DC Comics shut its physical location down. It no longer has a physical office.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
The homeless comic company.
Good luck sharing ideas.
Yeah. Which I don't think is necessarily bad news. I mean, it probably is bad news, but it's given the fact that especially if you can work from home, and I would say probably 90% of their staff probably can. I mean, what's the point in having a physical location if all it does is cost you money? And everyone's working from home anyway.
Well, so I would have to disagree some, I guess. I think there is tremendous value to being in person, especially when you have a creative endeavor that you're trying to create. Some of my best ideas in my profession have come from turning the chair around and talking to the guy next to me and just like bouncing ideas off. It's much harder to do that remotely.
Sure.
So I mean,
perks.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense financially. Especially, I don't know why they did this. They moved into like one of the more expensive parts of California and set up an office.
Yeah.
So that doesn't. If it was me, I would
ego.
move. I'd move to like Smallville, Kansas. Make your own Smallville. You could save a lot of money that way. Plus, it's it's a cool idea. Who knows? Maybe them getting rid of their physical location puts a whole bunch of money back in the bank, and in return, we can hire some decent artists and writers.
Well, I thought it was I watched a YouTuber that really broke it down, and it can make you look at it both ways, because the Discovery deal, what we were waiting on was for government approval, and that's happened. So Discovery is in the process. They're about to have complete control of Warner Brothers, DC, HBO, all that, right? Well, also that office building they were in, they moved there because they were planning to partner with the movie side, and New 52 and Superman, Batman, those were supposed to be huge mega hits, and that didn't happen. So you can understand them scaling down, but one of the two big comic corporations not having like their own office or home, I just can't see how that's a good thing. Like that doesn't, to me, with all of this happening, that doesn't really sell you on the idea of a long-term viability, or that HBO or Discovery really believes in DC. Like, if you believed in a company, would you be like, all right, you're going to share this office building with, Home Depot, and nobody gets their own desk? It's a hot box, hot office idea.
Hot desk. Hot
Yeah,
box
hot
is
desk.
a completely different thing.
I like the idea of the Smallville, Kansas.
Isn't
Yeah.
that such a good idea? They could make their own
Yeah.
Smallville. You know what I mean? Just think of all the cool.
Get
they
the
could-
creative forces,
Absolutely.
together and focused.
I'm telling you, real estate in Metropolis, Illinois has to be cheaper than LA.
Metropolis, Illinois. Come on. Exactly.
They had cheaper office space in New York. Like, it's significantly more expensive than what they had in New York. That's saying something.
That would be cool. Metropolis, Illinois. Now that I think about it, like the Superman museum's already there. Like the fact that they don't, I'm kind of mad that they didn't now.
I understand that the Superman Museum just redid the entire museum and
Did they?
freshened up the displays and moved stuff around and reorganized.
I've been seeing pictures on Instagram from both them and like other Superman Instagrammers. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
That just means maybe we all got to meet up there or something. That would be a lot of fun.
Going back to the Batman real quick, have you guys seen the things going around Instagram with people posting pictures of all the different actors who played Batman, asking which is your favorite? And in every single one of them, I've seen different versions of it, but in every single one of them, Adam West is missing. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's funny because the comments overwhelming, like, Adam West, hello. Like,
and Adam West was a theatrical Batman as well. He wasn't just TV show, because there was a theatrical movie that he was in as Batman.
There's only one correct answer to that question. George Clooney. He's the definitive Batman.
George Clooney with his bat nipples and bat credit card.
So who would you?
The
who would
first
each of you
movie I
pick?
ever saw in theaters.
Honestly, if I had to go with my lifetime, it would probably be a toss between Christian Bale and I really liked Ben Affleck, to be honest with you.
Val Kilmer was really good too.
And I was one of those
Underrated
people
movie.
who were like, oh, Ben Affleck, he's the worst pick for Batman. But dude, he was so good. He shut me up pretty dang fast. I thought he was awesome. So Christian Bale or Ben Affleck could go either way.
All right. We got Val Kilmer from Tim. What about you, Lasso?
I want to say Adam West, and I feel like
I know
I'm
you
going to
do.
be able to newspaper if I say that. But no one's mentioning Michael Keaton, and let's face it, people said that he wasn't going to be a good Batman either, and they were wrong about that. He was a good Batman.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Michael Keaton's the favorite. Like, since his rumor to be in a movie, there's been so much Michael Keaton love everywhere. He's almost the overwhelming pick.
So my instinct would be to go first with Michael Keaton, but I think it's more for nostalgia because I grew up with him. I think if I'm honest with myself, I think Christian Bale for me. I really enjoyed him the best.
Yeah, I don't know if it's obviously the actor playing Batman is huge, but you can't skip the fact that Christopher Nolan, like, he knew the source material, he knew exactly what to do. So tip of the hat to Christopher Nolan.
I think the only thing wrong with those movies is Batman wasn't the way he should be in fighting. Like, you watch that Daredevil TV show?
Yeah.
How Daredevil
Oh
fought?
my gosh. Oh yeah.
If you would have brought that kind of fighting in with the Batman in those movies, they would have been perfect.
Can you imagine a hallway fight scene like Daredevil in a Batman movie?
Exactly. That's what Batman should be.
And also, real quick, I'd just like to welcome Tom to the show. Welcome.
I've said it before. I think the best superhero TV show or movie ever made was the Daredevil TV show, specifically season 2.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to me, it don't get better. It was fantastic.
I didn't see the new Spider-Man movie. I just saw the clip of the Daredevil as him being a lawyer, Matt Murdock, and I thought that was pretty cool. Where he catches the brick and he's like, "Oh, I'm just a really good lawyer." I was like, yes. Rumor on the street is he's coming back in a big way. All the Defenders are coming back in a big way. So we'll see.
A lot of picks for George Clooney in here.
Isn't Matt Murdock? Okay, so Matt Murdock as Daredevil, he's a defender, but as Matt Murdock, he's a public defender.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's a twice defender.
Mm-hmm.
Now you talk about Marvel's misstep. I just getting on Marvel a little bit. They had so much momentum with all their shows in Daredevil season 2. What happened with the Defenders? Like what happened there?
I heard it was
level.
different director, and the studio really wanted control. So,
okay,
what can you do?
Yeah, because I mean, I was loving all those shows until that happened, and then it's like, So.
Yeah. Well, on Iron Fist season 2, was it? That wasn't so great either.
I so many people told me Iron Fist was bad. I never even watched it. I'm like, why waste my time?
I enjoyed the first one. But...
From the very little I know about the Marvel universe, isn't Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings? I know it has, it's an Iron Man kind of villain in the Mandarin, but I heard somewhere in there's like an Iron Fist does some stuff like in the comics, and that somehow could be transformed into the big screen with Iron Fist or whatever. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Shang-Chi was pretty good too. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was good.
I didn't like it.
I haven't seen it.
Very forgettable.
It was like
really.
I thought it was a breath of fresh air compared to all the other movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you read anime or manga.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, some of these movies, it's almost like you're just watching the same movie over and over.
I do like that Wong kind of now just kind of appears. The Doctor Strange guy. He just whatever movie you want. There's Wong doing something.
Yeah.
I was online trying to order a Doctor Strange movie Funko Pop, but I ended up getting the Wong one.
He's not going to stop.
I regret myself on that one. For those just joining us, you could tell by the chat that this is your favorite DC comic show.
Yeah.
Leave it to Tom.
I only collect DC, but I don't dislike Marvel. I just don't collect it. I still watch it. And,
you're right. I mean, honestly, I'm glad I don't like Marvel. Not because of the whole split between DC and Marvel, but my office is really small. And I can only collect so much. So I can't collect
about 20 years too late to start collecting Marvel.
Yeah,
he wanted to start collecting Marvel way back then.
Yeah.
So
well, let's get back to DC here. Did you guys as far as I'm concerned, there was only one good book this week worth picking up, and that was finally it is back with book number 7. Nice House on the Lake.
I saw it, didn't pick it up.
Oh yeah, it's finally back. It went on break for a while, but it is back. I haven't read it yet, so no spoilers here in the chat. But
stuff happens.
Aside from that, I mean, I think I got a detective and a Batman, but yeah. What about you guys?
I'm completely out of the zone on new books. I have no idea what's going
on. Where's my screen?
Not much.
As you can see if I can find it. It is right there. I got a stack of new books. Putting some cool stuff together, but the War for Earth 3 looks really good. The Suicide crossover with another book, so that'll be a lot of fun. The Order of the Night, or whatever I don't even remember what it's called, but I got a stack of new ones right there, ready to go.
I technically did get a new book this week, but I didn't go to the LCS. I bought this on eBay not knowing it was a pre-order because it's a second print, and that's Catwoman 39. Because the A print is already hundreds of dollars.
Really? Why?
Yes, because it's a cool cover. That happens with these Catwomans and Wonder Womans and Harleys. Some of those covers just take off.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The A cover is $100.
Yeah. A cover is black. I think that the cheapest I saw it a month ago was like $135 for all.
Actually, I think I did hear about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked up. I immediately searched second print on eBay, and this listing didn't say it was a pre-order, and I'm kind of hesitant on that.
Yeah.
But I just went ahead and left it, and it showed up this week. But I don't care if it's not a black background. That cover's awesome.
Well, I'm going to hope that A cover starts showing up in Walmart packs in a few months.
Yeah.
I'm so hesitant to buy those. I just feel like I'll be wasting my money.
This is a B cover, but it's the second print of the B cover. It's not the A of this. This was there was a 1 in 25 that issue, but this is originally the B cover.
Okay.
I got cover 3 for Batman 121. It says $20, but I didn't pay $20. There's another cover that I got that I, for life of me, can't find or remember which one it was. Oh, it's right here. Batman Killing Time, #1. I picked up, what is it, A, B, C, D, E. I picked up cover E because I thought it was cool. Yeah.
Going back to what Dave said, though, I'm not a huge value guy, but to me, the covers, especially girl DC covers by certain artists, I think are great investments, like Adam Hughes, Jenny Friesen, Art Germ. So I kind of go out of my way to try to get some of the nicer covers.
Southern Comic Geek is right. Think of all the signatures I could get. I don't even want to think about it, man. I don't even want to think about it. That's a lot of signatures.
You know what you got to do, Tony? Pick a series like that has a bunch of covers for each issue. Get every cover and then get the cover artist to sign each one of them.
That would be cool. I started doing something like that with Batman Rebirth #1 because there was like a bajillion #1s. I've started that. I've got about 3 or 4 signatures on them. Let's see. Actually, I have them right here. Now I think about it. So I have, this cover, which is Tim.
It's like we planned this, but we didn't. He's like,
we didn't.
To have them.
I have this one, the DCBS variant, triple signed. I have director's cuts. I've got them all.
That's awesome.
How about you, Lasso? What'd you pick up this week? Or have you been to
show that during book show?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to save that for book show. So.
Oh, I know what he picked up.
Yeah.
That Catwoman was going to be next week's book show. Now I got to come up with something.
I need some help because I found some back issues and I have never seen these before. So I thought maybe you guys could help me here because, like I said, back issues.
DC Sampler #1. I'm claiming it.
It is not.
I got all 3 of those. #2 is technically the first Constantine, right?
Oh, sorry. I said DC Sampler. I meant DC Spotlight. I have all the samplers. I need DC Spotlight #1. But anyway, go ahead, Foo.
Okay. So I just came across this, and whenever I see a first issue, I have a tendency to pick it up. Have you guys ever heard of this before?
I've heard of it, but I've never read
it. Yep. What is this?
I think it's the DC version of Turok.
Yeah.
It's a barbarian type book. I think it was inspired by Marvel's Conan sales. They were trying to take a chunk out of that. If you read that and if you like that, the Books A Million in my area, which carries back issue comic books, has a whole bunch of those down there, so I can hook you up.
Yeah, I see those all the time. That's like a staple of the dollar bins in St. Louis.
Yeah, don't pay a lot for those books because they're not expensive books.
I don't think I'm gonna collect that. I saw a #1, so I got it. But check these out. I didn't even know these existed, to be honest with you. I'm sure Lasso has seen these, and I'm curious if Tim has these. I found the full 4-part mini run of Tales of the New Teen Titans.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cyborg. And then they had Raven.
I always get it wrong. That didn't come out before
Changeling.
New Teen Titans, did it?
I don't know.
It didn't come out.
Yeah, the way the story goes is like it's right before, in a way.
Before what? I didn't hear you.
The series starts almost like that's a precursor.
Oh,
to introduce the characters.
The deal was they didn't have the origin of these 4 characters who were the new Teen Titans. And they had stuff planned out for the book and they didn't have room to incorporate it into the book. And then the book started selling so well, they're like, let's do this 4-issue mini. and get the origins out there because people have been asking for them.
Yeah, because it's basically like,
Yeah, it says like the secrets of their past and what.
it's like they're on a camping trip, like, and they give you the impression the team just formed, and then those 4 characters give their origins in the book. So it always gave me the impression that it was like a prequel to the ongoing series, like introducing you to them.
You know what? If you give me a minute to look here, I can tell you date-wise.
While you look that up, check this out, guys. For $3 plus my discount, I found Superman 280. $3 for that.
Ooh,
Nice.
Wow.
that's a steal.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm not even necessarily collecting a full run of Superman, but for $3 in this nice shape, I was like, heck yeah.
Okay, so New Teen Titans was 1980. That miniseries was the summer of '82.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Cool.
Interesting.
I thought it was a cool find. I figured I'd pick it up.
It is.
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
Awesome,
All
man.
right. Well,
When you say you
is
get a
that
discount,
everything?
is that at your LCS?
Yeah, so like if you have like a pull box, you know, where you get your subscriptions, then you get like I think it's 20% off.
Man, my LCS needs to do something like that. Can you imagine if
Nice.
I had 20% off when the back issues were 75% off?
Yeah, it
I would
gives
have
you
just
like
backed up a U-Haul and just said, load them up. Here's $10.
that's funny. Yeah, like that the discount it's on all the new books as well as the back issues, and on the dollar bin they'll give you half off.
Dang.
wow.
Dang. My LCS don't do that. If you're watching.
The best deal I ever had was a vintage stock offered to give me 15% off cover on my books, and I never got any of them in when I started.
That was nice of him.
Yeah, that would have been the best discount. Well, you guys ready to jump into the review?
Sure.
So we got the last 3 issues of Flash, Return of Barry Allen, and I was absent last week, so I read all 6 issues today. So
It's not bad, huh?
Yeah, not a bad story. Was it? I think it already happened last week. They kind of brought Max Mercury in.
Yeah.
And I don't know for sure his history, but at least in current DC, saying Crisis Forward, it's like his first, time appearing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So now, did we actually decide who's going to read which issue?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I have
Okay.
79. I don't know if I'm sharing it with somebody.
I'm doing the first issue of the Flash. So after you do the Green Lantern one, then it's coming to me.
And
Okay.
I got 78.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So it's going to go Dave, Ryan, Tony, me.
Yep.
All right. All right.
All right. Do you need me to share?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get the screen share going here. Here we go. All right, so lucky me, this story actually has a tie-in with Green Lantern. And
How appropriate.
yeah. And I do have this issue, of course, but I had never read it until now. It's kind of a silly little issue. This is something I want to point out before we get too far into this is before Emerald Twilight. And that's going to be really important for events that take place in this story that if you're familiar with what occurs in Emerald Twilight. So this is pre-Emerald Twilight. Keep that in mind. So the story starts off with, when last we left the Flash, Barry Allen has returned from the dead. His energy has been reconstructed. And, he has left Wally West for dead. And because there's not enough room for 2 Flash in this town. Okay. And Wally, while he's not dead, is, of course, at home kind of dealing with things.
I like to think of it as Barry's finally showing his true Hal Jordan.
Wow. So it jumps forward just a little bit here, and the Flash is already he's attacking Central City, and he's he's kind of going nuts. Okay. It's a bit of a jump from where we left off on the last story, because in the last story, at least, while he was showing some signs of craziness, it was still private, whereas now it seems to be public and out in the open for the world to see. So that's why I mentioned that. And in fact, Hal Jordan is on his way, because he and Barry are friends. They've been friends for a long time. He swoops in to try to deal with Barry. He wants to take him down peacefully, basically, right? He doesn't want Barry getting hurt, but he also doesn't want to see anything happen to the city. But he gets there, and he first finds that there is this other person there, this superpowered being that has already engaged the Flash. And of course, we know this as Darkstar. Although at this point, Hal is not introduced to Darkstar. So he comes up. He doesn't know if he's friend or foe. And Hal takes on Darkstar with this kind of, with his light construct, with this big ball with spikes on it to try to help Barry out. And the guy's like, dude, I'm Darkstar. And, you know, Hal's like, I don't care. You're hurting my friend. And so, so these two get into a little battle of sorts, nothing too serious as they kind of go at it. And you see it, but there's an exchange going back and forth at this time. And Hal's beginning to understand that this Darkstar is also some kind of law enforcement of the universe as well, similar to a Green Lantern. He hasn't really heard of them before. So apparently this Darkstar is part of a larger group as well, but his Earth is his planet to protect. So so while they're battling and kind of hashing things out, Barry escapes. And so they go off looking for him. They each go in their own direction. And Hal is trying to find Barry before Darkstar does. When his ring keeps popping up and showing him pictures of Carol Ferris. I was blanking there for a second. Carol Ferris, who at this time in the book has just returned from being Star Sapphire, and she needs Hal's help in not turning again into Star Sapphire. So it's kind of this battle, and she's really blaming Green Lantern for her and Hal never having being able to move their romantic relationship forward. And so Hal he's torn. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on at this point in his life. He's trying to get his buddy to purchase Ferris Air, but Carol's kind of rude, and he's like, yeah, buddy, I'm not interested in getting involved with love and friendship and business. It's not the right time. So all of these things are going on in Hal's life at the time. He's trying to hold it together all the while. I'm just going to skip through a bunch of this. All the while, though, Flash is still wreaking havoc on Central City. So Hal goes off again looking for the Flash, and sure enough, he sees him zipping through the streets of the city, and he is on his way, none other than to the Flash Museum, which is kind of interesting. Why would Barry need to go to the Flash Museum? Hal Jordan gets there just after Barry and learns that Barry has told everybody to exit the building or he's going to kill them. And the museum caretaker's like, this isn't the Barry I knew. And so Hal goes in after him to kind of, again, try to talk his friend down from destroying everything. And this is where they begin to battle. Hal, of course, uses his light constructs to try to contain Barry, but Barry is able to, use all of his vibrations and his tornado effects to knock Hal back. Hal does what he always does. He sends a boxing glove through there, and Barry's just like, come on, man, really? You really thought that was going to work on the Flash? And so he throws the bronze Flash statue at Hal. Because, as I mentioned, this is pre-Emerald Twilight. So if you know any of your Green Lantern history, it was in Emerald Twilight where the yellow impurity was removed from the central power battery, which was Parallax. And it was that yellow impurity that caused the Green Lantern ring up until that point to be susceptible to the color yellow. Kind of, frankly, yeah.
They didn't really explain that till Jeff Johns. So like, just suddenly Kyle shows up and he doesn't have a weakness.
Yeah, that's true. And frankly, I'm glad they did away with that because it was kind of a silly carryover from the Silver Age, to be honest. The Bronze Age had them susceptible to wood, and the Silver Age, the color yellow. They had those silly little gimmicks back then, and by this point, they were starting in the 90s. They were starting to get rid of that, thankfully. But at this point, it still exists. So he throws this bronze statue, thinking maybe bronze is like yellow, right? Barry protects himself with his little bubble there, as you see. And it's kind of cool. You see all the statues, the wax statues of the Flash's Rogue Gallery there falling all over themselves. And so then Hal gets a little more creative with his constructs. You can see here, it's almost like a John Stewart type of device there, trying to hold the Flash down. But again, Barry's like, you forgot who you're dealing with. I can vibrate through walls. And so he just simply like disappears through the wall, zips back through again, hits Hal. And at this point, he runs so fast, he goes into the part of the museum where he grabs all of his rogues' weapons to fire off at Hal all at once. So Mr. Element, Mirror Master, Heatwave, Pied Piper, Captain Cold, and Captain Boomerang all at once being sent Hal's way. It's all he can do to try to shield himself. I'm going to skip through this here because I know we got more to get through, but the caretaker shows up again. Hal's like, I told you to get out of here. So he gives him a mask to help with some of the gas that's going on. Puts Flash in this little tiny cell here, thinking, well, it's so small he won't be able to vibrate his way through. But again, the yellow impurity comes into play here, and just a little bit of yellow on the Flash's costume is enough to break through those bars, as you can see. Like I said, I'm glad they got rid of this yellow impurity thing because you can see it got a little silly. So that's all it took to defeat Hal again. He starts spinning him around to the point where Hal's about to lose consciousness, but he creates this grappling hook light construct to kind of get a hold of himself and stop the centrifuge. You can see the battle continues. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Hal continually trying to talk Barry down, does not want to hurt him. But it's getting less and less likely that he's going to be able to take Flash down without doing some real damage. At this point, Darkstar shows up again, but Hal is still not willing to let this other guy take his friend down. So while the two of them are arguing, the Flash once again escapes, to which they have to chase after him again out of the museum. The museum's been trashed, by the way, at this point, given the battles going on. And Darkstar, you can see, shoots him with his rays, and Flash is buried in the rubble. Hal thinks that he has now killed him, and basically Hal's got to go off. He's being called elsewhere because Star Sapphire is becoming a problem again with Carol. And so, again, Darkstar's like, I got some questions for you. Hold on. It's kind of funny because meanwhile, Flash is apparently dead, and they're both like, all right, we're done.
Yeah, let's not check.
Yeah.
He's my best friend. Oh, well.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, at least Hal had to get back for Carol. Like I said, he's got several things going on at this period. So he's kind of distracted here. But, long story short, of course, Barry's not dead. He was just, he vibrated through the rubble, of course, and he was just faking them out, if you will. So with that, we're really done with our Flash story here. There's not too much more other than to show that when Hal gets back, he finds Carol. He thinks she's transferring back into Star Sapphire, but actually out pops the Predator. So kind of silly, but it's a tie-in issue.
Star Sapphire again.
Yeah. So
it's a weird looking Predator.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there you go, though. Now we are that's our nice little tie-in kind of, which was cool because it's Barry and Hal. I mean, they've been friends, so it's kind of fitting. But Now on to Flash number 77, where the story really continues. And I will get that shared for you in a moment here, Tim.
You know, Lasso has his 60-second reviews down pat.
Go.
All right, so this is our continuation in the Flash story. And the first few pages are devoted to recapping what we've seen and what we've talked about in the last several issues in this storyline. So here we have a recap of the battle with Green Lantern, which is being watched on the news by Wally West. So Wally's kind of thinking about kind of what's gone down, how, you know, Barry showed back up alive. He trapped him and essentially thought he left him for dead. Went on the TV and announced that Wally was dead, and that kind of broke his spirit. And he thought about the times that he had been stripped of his powers, but in his mind, he still thought of himself as the Flash, and he'd never let that go. But this time it was different because his powers are intact. It's his identity that's been revoked, and that makes all of the difference. So we cut now to a construction scene that's going on, and our construction workers are having themselves a little coffee break, and all of a sudden the girders and the core of the building starts to shake. And what is happening? Barry Allen Flash is down there shaking the thing, causing some catastrophe, seeing what he can do. Remember, his motivation for doing this is he feels like Central City forgot about him after he died, and he's the only Flash, and he's going to make sure they never forget about him. Well, showing up to save the day, we have Jay Garrick Flash, we have Johnny Quick and Max Mercury. They're catching the construction workers who are falling off of the site, and we get a great splash. There's so many good splashes, splashes and flashes. Here are the Flashes getting ready to take on Barry. So they start to fight, and you know, Barry is his usual way that he's been, and he's pretty cocky, and he's taking on Johnny Quick. He's not having any problems. Once again, he knows that he can vibrate through things, but what they tell him is, yeah, you might be able to vibrate through things, but you don't see what's on the other side when you do vibrate. And that's when Max Mercury and Jay Garrick give him, you know, the big old double wallop there, which kind of knocks him down for a minute, and he loses his wind. But he's back up again, and he's fighting mad now. So at this point, we're going to cut across again now to that alley where Barry Allen appeared at. And Wally has walked to that area. This is where Barry first, when he materialized back on Earth, where he first appeared. And do you remember there was this book that had his name on in the last week's episode that we were talking about? Well, all of a sudden we see that book, but Wally doesn't see it. It's someone else who's in the alley. Maybe a homeless man who finds this book and picks it up. And Wally is so close to finding that book.
Isn't that the DC offices?
Yes. So now we're back into the fight. We cut back in, and Max Mercury and Barry Allen are going at it. They run up the scaffolding of this construction site. And what Max Mercury is saying to him is, you know, it's hard to move at light speed when you're walking the tightrope of an iron girder. Up here, it's not velocity that counts, it's agility. So they have a little bit of a battle going on. And what does Barry Allen decide to do? Well, he's going to put the odds in his favor. He takes some of the construction workers and he throws them off of this site. And it's like, oh my gosh. So now the Flashes have to go and try to save these guys. And while they're doing so, at one point, at least Jay Garrick gets stops Barry temporarily by hitting him with one of these girders. And Barry once again pulls that classic villain move, you know, of it's me, Barry, and you've hurt me. And that stops Jay for a second, just enough for Barry to really knock him back. So now we're cutting back to this alley. And once again, we got this guy who just seconds before Wally would have found it, has his hands on this book. And he's looking through this memoir, and he says this name, Iris. And that's, you know, that sparks Wally's like, Iris, you know, what do you have there? Give that to me. That's mine. And it takes some pleading to get it and $20, but finally Wally has it. He opens up the book and he says, "My God. Oh my God." So now we cut back to the fight. And here we have the news copters are covering this event for the news of this war that's going, of this battle that's going on with the Barry Allen Flash and the other Flashes. And we see at the bottom of that page that at the same time, Wally is reading through this book. And, we're getting the sense that stuff is being revealed to him about what's going on. We cut back to the battle. And we got this blinding sandstorm that's going on now from the Flash whirling his arms. And this is affecting the helicopter pilot and the crew up there. They can't see where they're going. And Barry essentially takes off, leaving those Flashes to deal with that disaster because the people in the helicopter are about to crash. We cut back there below, and there's Wally again. He's been reading this. But in the inside front cover, he found something written. 2 words that, as he says, 2 words that will turn my world around. What could it be? So we cut back to this potential disaster that's going on. This helicopter is about to crash. Jay Garrick flies up this steel girder. He gets to the pilots. He takes them, and he's trying to run them down before this helicopter hits the building. And at the bottom panel again, we see that Wally has taken off and he's heading somewhere. I mean, he's gone like a flash. Okay, look at this next page. Kaboom! Wow. Okay, the helicopter.
Now, was I the only one that spent like several minutes trying to see if something was written in the shrapnel there?
Looks like damage or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a great page.
Yeah.
So then as we cut to the next page, we see the aftermath of this. We see the debris that's falling. There's one specific piece of debris on this next page that we see hits, and it clank, chank, chank, shank, thunk. And it looks like it's landing in front of someone's foot. And what is that? It's Jay Garrick's helmet. Wally West arrives too late, and he feels that Jay Garrick has just died because he was too late. And that's the end of this issue. Great cliffhanger.
Very cool.
There you go.
Yeah. So that puts me up. Okay, I did number 78. And this one's pretty interesting. This review will be pretty brief, but it starts off with the Flash teaching the Flash the formula. I assume the Speed Force. I didn't read any other issues, so I came into
it's Johnny Quick, right?
So I came into this not knowing whatever happened before. So it all makes sense now towards the end. So they're going over the formula of the Speed Force, and they're talking about Jay Garrick and what happened. But Jay Garrick comes back. He's not dead, obviously, but they're talking about weaknesses. And if you scroll down to the next panel, it says like Quicksilver. And I was like, oh man, is there like an X-Men crossover in this? Because we were talking about crossovers.
Oh, that happened last week, actually. They gave reference to that, yeah.
So that's what I was like,
that name is very taken.
So they devise a plan to stop this Barry Allen Flash imposters, and they split up. Quicksilver, not Quicksilver, Max, Johnny, and Jay Garrick go one way, and Wally goes other. We cut to the prison at Central City, the state penitentiary, and some weird, wacky things are happening. Guards' keys go missing. A big walkway in the prison starts wobbling, and the Flash appears. And he says, the parole board is here, and you've all made it. Congratulations. So they radio for help. The Flash is running around letting prisoners out of their cells. There's one panel in here where he just takes all the guns in the prison. knocks out all the guards watching like the yard or the entrance or whatever, and gives all these prisoners the guns. And he's making his own private army, so he says. The Flashes show up. Two Flashes start taking on the prisoners. Jay Garrick starts taking on evil Flash here. Wally West heads to the Flash Museum. Remember, they were there previously. It's been destroyed. It's been beat up. It's a wreck. He's looking for clues. He thinks he found one in costume storage, a ring of some sorts. So he zips over to the Rogues Gallery. We cut back to the prison. The prisoners are fighting the Flashes. Jay Garrick is still fighting this evil Flash, trying to figure things out. But they do a really good job here of trying to animate, especially in this particular panel, how what that would look like. All these Flashes fighting these prisoners. I get the sense, like back in the day, it wasn't like when we start talking about the Flash, we think of, I'm going to use the lowest common denominator and say CW Flash. Even if you're not comic book fans, some people are like the show and know Grant Gustin's Flash. He can run so fast, time can stand still. You know what I mean? So to watch all these prisoners run around and shoot guns must be like nothing to him, which is pretty cool. Going further down, the fight continues. I thought the high five between the two Flashes is pretty cool. Now they're off to go find Jay. The prisoners are being rounded up by the guards. Jay Garrick and Evil Flash are continuing to fight, and he pulls the same kind of dirty trick on Jay Garrick. He says, no more, no more. What are you doing? And he blinks for a second, and before you know it, he's right back on his feet, swinging punches, hitting Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick is really taking a beating here, and it's pretty sad. I'm going to cut back to the Flash Museum, where now Evil Flash is coming, and he finds the ring too, but Wally already has it, and he said, "You made one mistake. You forgot those two magic words that will save this whole thing and restore my memory is Reverse Flash." We cut to, and we find out that Evil Flash was just Professor Zoom this entire time, which was pretty cool in my opinion. But and that's the end of this issue.
Cool.
Another good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
All right. And issue number 79.
So 79 starts off right where we left, and you get like we basically.
Jeez, look at those ears.
Yeah.
Up here? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, those are like Batman ears. Where they're like 3 feet long back in the day.
Yeah, the cover art for these issues was off compared to the interiors.
Yes, very much so.
So we're getting the same flashbacks we got in every other issue, but with in between panels of like a slowdown of Reverse Flash throwing a punch. So we get this whole flashback until finally we see a big splash page of him swinging and missing on Wally. Right here. And basically they're duking it out while you're learning the story of how he came to be here. And one of the first things Wally asks is, how can you be here? You're dead. And that's where he's like, not yet. Like, I've never even met Barry Allen yet. And that's where you learn of, he's from the future. I believe it's 495 years. I guess 500 at this time, but it's like 2495. You learn he lives in his future where there's no heroes. Technology and so forth is pretty much taking care of that, but it's boring. And, there are little bits of knowledge of old heroes. And this guy always took to Barry. And he idolized Barry and thought about Barry so much that Barry was like his friend. He's collecting memorabilia, including this diary that we had. You even see a brief little thing that shows like a plastomorph, which I guess explains how he got Barry's face. You even see him killing an antique dealer to get like the holy grail of Flash memorabilia, and that being the cosmic treadmill. So he had everything he needed to travel back in time to meet Barry because he's just fanatical about him, except he didn't have superpowers. You see that he did all kinds, spent his fortune on all types of ways to try and get super speed until he finally did, and then raced on the cosmic treadmill, but didn't anticipate the rigors of the time stream, which basically led to how this Barry showed up. He realized he showed up at the wrong time, and basically was walking around the Flash Museum learning about what had went on, because this is stuff that even happened after his death in his future, but our past. And he's learning about the rogues, and that's when he learns that he himself was Flash's greatest rogue. He sees the statue of when Barry snapped his neck, and that causes a mental breakdown where he does kind of snap and forget who he is until, just like it was explained earlier, he sees the Flash statue and literally tricks himself into believing that he's Barry. So they start fighting some more, and he even goes to maybe attempt to destroy the cosmic treadmill, and Wally's like, don't do that, you're going to mess with the time stream, sort of confusing him a little bit more. You can see Eobard's not too sure if he should destroy it or not. So he runs up, clocks Wally, and that's when we see Hal show up again. I guess he got back from dealing with his girlfriend. Tries to trap him in a cage that he just, easily walks through because of the impurity. And Hal did bring Max Mercury and Johnny Quick. He immediately starts mopping them up easily. Hal again pins him to a wall with some debris, to which, he escapes the same way again. He just vibrates through. That's when they're wondering what happened to Jay. He got his leg broken 6 places. And I don't know if it's in this issue. It was in the issue prior. Max really starts to show himself for the mentor that he's going to be through the rest of this series, because at this point, Wally's slower than Reverse Flash. Keep that in mind as we go forward a little bit more. And Max had mentioned, are you just afraid to go faster? So they're talking about that book. They don't see an author credit, and they're watching TV, and that's when Reverse Flash races onto the TV screen and grabs Linda. So you get a pretty cool scene. Hal tries to stop him, and Wally's already gone. You see a brief glimpse of the door, and now you're seeing Eobard's hand slowly vibrating towards Linda's head, and you're just sort of seeing the scenes of where Wally just was, like on the street, running through a river, coming into Channel 4, and he gets Linda away. So, of course, they immediately start fighting again, and you could see, not really a splash page. Go down a little bit more. Right there, pretty cool page of just, seeing him sidestep Wally to every turn, beating the crap out of him, and he leaves again. So Wally talks to Linda a little bit and gives chase, and that's when he's going through right here, this chase scene, what Mercury had said to him, that maybe he was afraid of being faster than Barry because of what Barry meant. And he's like, right now, I'm more afraid of, letting this B word go. And we get another great splash page of him catching up to Reverse Flash and just clocking him in the back of the head. And that's where we get a really great fight scene that's more even. And you go down one more page, you just really start to see the fear right there in that right panel in Reverse Flash's face. he gets up on top of a Flash statue and starts breaking it apart, kicking rubble at high speed. Wally's dodging it and then actually makes a mistake. Actually slips on the water because it's raining. And Reverse Flash hits him with a chunk of the statue and is getting ready to vibrate his hands through him when suddenly a bolt of lightning shoots down between them. And to Wally, he says thank you, sort of believing that's Barry and the Speed Force, and immediately takes advantage of it, beats the crap out of Reverse Flash. The whole time Reverse Flash is still saying he's Barry Allen, and you get another great splash page, which is actually the thumbnail of the show, of him knocking him down saying you're no Barry Allen. And that's so now Reverse Flash is running, trying desperately to get away. He's mentally broken, and Wally's taking advantage of it and says, hey, I'm just going to run into the future and terrorize people there, or maybe I'll just kill you in your crib, and disappears on the cosmic treadmill. And we see a broken Reverse Flash get on the treadmill and disappear back into the time stream. That's when everybody shows up, and basically we see that Wally tricked him, moved at super speed to make it look like he went in time, but had it preset to send him back to the future. And we see him showing up there. They don't really give you too much information of what happens to Eobard. He just shows up naked in the future with a scrap of his costume. Yeah, this is a missing report. We get a little bit, him talking to Wally, then him talking to Linda, and we see there's now 2 statues outside the Flash Museum. And this is where we learn here that Iris wrote this book. And he rips the book apart, throws it in the water, and ends with him saying, I'm Wally West. I'm the Flash. And that's the end of the story. One thing about this story that's hard to convey on a review, there's a ton of action. Like a ton of really good action throughout these books.
Absolutely.
So guys, now that we've read all 6 issues, why don't we quickly give our scores, our take on it. And at the same time, if you want to shout out your channel and if you have more books to show for a book show, we'll do that real quick and that'll bring us to the end. So I'll throw it to Ryan first. We'll just go around clockwise. So what did you think, Ryan?
I'm going to give it a 4.5 lightning bolts out of 5. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was a good story. Thought it had a good cliffhangers. The writing was good and the art was good. So on my channel, it was very active on my channel this week. On Tuesday, I dropped a new comic book editions video that was a lot of Batman the Brave and the Bold comic books based on the cartoon that I bought. So I shared those on Tuesday afternoon's video. And then on Thursday, I had a surprise special pop-up live stream, an AOK from Mr. Gretzky 9966, and we went live and unboxed that. On Friday, I had another cover buy, which was a Batman-themed episode to tie in with the movie. And then Friday night, another pop-up surprise live stream. Comics for Thomas joined me, and he had sent me an AOK that I unboxed. So that was cool. Coming up this week on my channel, we'll have the back issue of the week, of course, dropping tomorrow. And the back issue of the week for the month of March will all be themed for International Women's Month. So that will tie into the back issue of the week all month long. And it will be a DC title tomorrow. And Tuesday, I've got, when I was live with Thomas on Friday on my channel, not only did I open up the AOK that he sent me, but there was a stack of books that I had bought from Canadian sellers. Thomas lives in Canada. And he shipped them along with the AOK that he sent me. And I didn't show those in the live feed. And on Tuesday's video, I'll show those on my channel along with the recap with those last 2 AOKs. So that's what's going on with my channel. Search for Magic Lasso and subscribe. Getting close to 600 subscribers.
Everyone is in the description, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. For my book show, it's so shiny and so beautiful. And it came out this week. And I was there before the comic books store even opened. And I was waiting for them to unlock the doors to pick up Absolute Wonder Woman, George Perez.
Awesome.
That's so awesome, dude. I love that cover.
It is. And if you're wondering what this looks like on the inside, or want to know a little bit more about it, Jaguar Chicatal did a unboxing review on his channel that's really good, and he goes through it. There's some extra stuff in here and some artwork that I had never even seen before. I was really impressed with it. I haven't opened mine up yet, but I will, and I certainly will enjoy it. And when you hot dogs were talking about your comic store and discounts and stuff, my LCS has a point system, hero points. And I have been hoarding my hero points for years, with an S at the end, years. So this is a 125 MSR in the United States. I paid for this after my hero points were deducted. I paid $15.
Ooh, buddy.
Wow.
How long does it take to get one hero point?
I don't know. It's this weird thing. It's not like a point equals $1. It's like, it's this weird system that I've yet to figure out. So, and you have to go in increments. Like you can get a $5, $10, 25, 50, 100, and so on.
Just bringing up these comments that happened while I was reading. It is a good question.
Yeah, we
all it
asked that
says-
last week, actually. I think the answer to that, I think Bronze Age got it. I think it has to do with that. You touched on it briefly, Tim, that plastic technology where it
Plastomorph?
plastomorph, it remorphed his face.
Well, when I read it, I thought maybe he just used the ring to see if he was telling the truth because he wanted to believe it was Barry.
Well, and that was it,
you
too.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
My understanding when I read the story, I thought how they addressed that was they said that he actually believed that he was Barry, so he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
When you believe
That's
it
true.
and you don't think that, you're not making a conscious decision that you're lying, you believe what you're saying is the truth. And that's why the ring didn't.
Plus, you have to think, even Hal's attitude with Wally is like, hey, sometimes miracles happen. I know we have to be cautious. Like, Hal fully wanted this to be Barry. And that may have played into the ring too, because it works on your willpower. So,
True.
If Hal wants it to be real, bad enough. So let's jump to Dave. What did you think of the story? What's up on your channel? And if you have another book show, I know you showed some stuff.
Sure. So I would give this overall probably about a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The art was a little bit sketchy in certain places. The cover art I didn't think was as good as it could have been for this caliber of story, but overall I really did enjoy it. As far as my channel, I'll have some new unboxings coming out this week, as well as my latest comic finds. You saw a small taste of that tonight, although I've got some really nice stuff that I picked up this week.
Dave's been having some epic back issue finds.
Yeah, I have
older stuff too. So if you haven't watched that yet, go check it out.
Yeah, I've been quite lucky in my finds lately, and this week is no exception. So that video will be coming out later this week. And for my book show today, it's actually not a book, it's another action figure, because I've been having a lot of fun collecting action figures lately. And this is one of my favorite Flash figures, and that is from the Mattel Classics line, DC
nice.
Universe Classics. This is the Blue Lantern Flash from Blackest Night.
Very cool.
Awesome.
That's one of my favorite eras that they've done on the action figures is that.
Yeah.
Line.
And this is the, I believe, the Anti-Monitor Collect and Connect.
It
Blue
throws me
Lantern
off
Anti-Monitor.
when I see that, because I mean, I wasn't
Blue
collecting
Lantern.
figures at the time.
It looks
but
like
I
a Blue
feel like
Lantern. Yeah.
The DC universe feels old to me, and like you see the Blackest Night figures that look newer.
Yeah.
So every time I see one from that time, I'm like, that Jeff Johns run is that old? Like,
I
man,
know. Isn't that crazy?
almost 20 years ago it started. We're just a couple years out from that.
Back when DC was good.
2005.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting old, Tim.
And it's been almost a decade since he left the book, because it was 2013, I think, when he left.
Yeah, it was right
Man.
after New 52 started.
Man.
2005, I was a junior in high school.
Wow. I'd maybe just been back into collecting. I think I came in around 2005, 6. But by the time I knew what was going on with Green Lantern, it was a couple years in because I didn't buy new stuff. Because it was like just maybe a year prior to Blackest Night, I started picking up new books. So
Wow.
let's throw it to Tony. What did you think? What's up on your channel? And, what do you have to show us?
It was okay. I want to be middle of the road here. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Nothing to get excited for. Showing a couple different things here. First one is this beautiful Reverse Flash DC Comics replica ring, and it's pretty awesome. I've shown it a few times, but I love this thing, and it even like opens.
That's
so
awesome.
So all you Flash fans, if you see that, definitely look at it, and then grab it. I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you're big. You gotta cough and sneeze.
Yeah, for my book show, I decided to stick with the Flash and Professor Zoom theme here. We have Flash Rebirth number 27, signed by Paul Patelier, and I really enjoy this cover. I forget what part of this particular run is happening right now, but I think Godspeed had already been introduced at this point.
Yeah,
but this was a classic Flash and Zoom fight, if I remember correctly.
Is that part of the button?
I was after the button. It was after the button.
Okay.
Yeah.
A pretty awesome fight with Reverse Flash and Batman in the Batcave in that story too.
Yes. Yep. But yeah, that's the book show.
Awesome. Well, for me, I'll give this. I've been hesitating between 4 and 4.5. I'll go 4.5. I feel like the covers were the main weak spot on this, and the story. It feels a little weak, some of the details, but I think for the time it was pretty much right on in continuity. It was interesting. I don't know if you all noticed it. I did send one letters page. People were going nuts in the letter pages over the return of Barry and trying to point out all kinds of continuity errors and getting rebuffed by the writers, that was almost as entertaining as the story. Some really awesome fans back then. On my channel, I did another Journey into Legends. Hope to keep doing them every week. And I collected all of the action figure shorts I did so far into one video, mainly because my 4-year-old daughter keeps begging me to watch them all, but also for anyone who is interested and maybe misses them in my episodes. They're all together. So I guess I'll do that going forward. And for my book show, I was just going to show a book, but since Dave is showing an action figure, I did pick up the new General Zod. All of these here are the last week or so pickups, and I did do some shorts. If you want to see me finding these books on these figures, you can see that on my channel. And this came in. I've had it for a week now. I ordered it really about the same time I ordered that Catwoman, probably a month and a half ago. This book has eluded me. All of this series are probably in the $25 to $50 range on the low side. So I knew it'd probably be that price to find it, but I wanted to find it in person. Finally bought it online, and this is an Elseworlds Batman. This is Crimson Mist. For those that don't know, this is the third part in the Red Rain or Jocular trilogy. There's Red Rain, Bloodstorm, and then Crimson Mist. For whatever reason, I just could never find this in the wild, so finally broke down and bought it. So happy to finish off that Elseworlds miniseries.
Very cool.
That's all for me. So, you guys have anything else to add before we go? Well, all right.
No.
I want to say thank you to everyone watching, anyone that watches on replay. I mentioned everyone is in the description. If for some reason you're not subbed up to these guys, if you like my channel, you will love all of their channels. So definitely sub them up. And plus, if you do that, you won't miss an episode of this show because it rotates between our channels. And I believe it is on Lasso's next week. And then it should be on Tony Fett's the week after. So sub up, hit that bell so you don't miss it. And with that, we'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Later, skaters.